Hi friends, it's Siva, and I'm coming at you with yet another Mage Tower Challenge guide. I've been kind of on a roll with these, and I figure why not do all the guides? So this one is going to be Subtlety, which was the last rogue spec that I needed. The quest is Closing the Eye, which is also needed for Arms Warriors, Frost DKs, Havoc Demon Hunters, and Survival Hunters. Unlike my healer guide, this guide is pretty much only going to be useful to Subtlety Rogues because I have no fucking idea how other classes will deal with the mirror images phase. As per usual, I highly recommend that you read a text guide and install DBM challenges. I'll put a link to DBM challenges in the description box. It's very useful. Just install it. So before we get started, I will go over my own prep and then I promise I will shut my face. So these are the talents that I took, although you're welcome to change it up. I would say that the only one that is mandatory is Tangled Shadow for the final phase, but Marked for Death is actually really useful at several points as well. My item level was 950. I'm wearing 4-piece tier 21 with the legendary Feint pants and the shoulders. My sub weapon had absolute garbage relics and was only Concordance 55. Additionally, I haven't played sub at all this expansion, so I basically let my eye level carry me while I just mashed buttons for DPS. So go me. I recommend using all consumables possible on this encounter, but I was lazy and overgeared, so I just used a Fel Focuser, then drums, and a potion on the final phase. Alright, so let's get started on the actual encounter itself. So I have my video kind of cropped to cut out some useless UI stuff. That's why you don't see my action bars and things like that. Promise I have action bars. I also have a mini map and all that stuff. I just cut it out so there's less distraction on the edges of my screen. So get close to this guy and you start the encounter.
Your world will be ripe for destruction by my demon masters, and my power will be limitless.
For the most part, he is just going to be casting crossbow at you. You can interrupt that to reduce damage, but you really don't have to. These purple lasers going through the center of the screen, don't cross those. They will just kill you. He summons these razor ice that goes around you. You just want to AoE those down and get out of them quick. You can use Feint to survive while you're in that blizzard. Don't touch those things. They do like 3 million damage if you touch them, so you want to kill them enough to clear a path out of there, but you don't need to kill all of them. And you go back on him and repeat. Razor Ice, don't touch it. This whole time I am using my potion and Feint to try to stay alive. It's not a high damage phase, but it's also the easiest phase, so you want to survive it as best you can. Okay, so let's talk about the Arcane Phase, which for me was actually the hardest phase, harder than the final boss. If you're not blind, probably won't be that hard for you. What he does is he disappears, summons a bunch of mirror images. He will be hiding in this sparkly spot. As soon as you get to that sparkly spot, you will reveal him, the mirror images will go away, and the phase will end. Now what you can do is you can hit cloak and sprint and run to the sparkly spot if you see it right away. If you don't see it right away, what you want to do is you want to shadow step to one of the mirror images and kill it. A little bubble will appear in its place. That bubble will heal you. Stand in that bubble and look for the sparkly spot. If you need to repeat on other ads, you can do so. You can even kill mirror images on the way to his sparkly thing. But what you don't want to do, which I didn't know until like my 10th attempt, until talking to another rogue in my guild, is you don't want to kill all the mirror images. That is a waste of time and also very hard and will get you killed. The mirror images do cast something that will knock you out of the bubble into the AoE that will kill you, so you want to interrupt it, but ideally you want to get through this phase as fast as possible. So this next phase is pretty easy as well. He's going to do this thing called Shadow Barrage. It's going to lob a bunch of orbs at you. You just need to strafe back and forth and dodge them. If you get hit, it does a knockback and a decent amount of damage, but it's totally survivable. Mostly you're just dodging that. He's going to be spamming Arcane Barrage at you. You can kick that to interrupt it to reduce damage, but it's not super important. The thing you absolutely have to interrupt is his draw power. You can interrupt that with kick or with kidney shot. You just need to make sure that he doesn't get it off. Otherwise, you're going to be running and chasing him around the platform similar to how you did in the first phase. And he's going to be doing those orbs at you. Now, at some point, you will probably have another Mirror Images phase here. If you didn't use Cloak and Sprint in the first Mirror Images phase, it's going to be available for you to use now. If you did, you're going to have to do it the slow way and shadow step between image to image until you get to him safely.
Beware.
After that, you're back into this phase again, and you're going to have those orbs again, as well as the Razor Ice from phase 1. At this point, you are just burning him to 10%, which is when you'll get the boss and start the hardest phase, at least the hardest phase for most people. For me, because I am both blind and overgeared, it was actually not as hard as the Mirror Images phase. But for most people, the boss will be the hard part.
Beware.
So then in the final phase, he summons this big void monster that you have to kill. For most people, this will be the hardest part of the encounter. It's much easier if you do overgear it. So what you want to do first is you want to drag him to the very edge of the room. This is because he summons like this void zone creep sort of stuff on the ground, and you want to maximize the area that you have available to you. So you want to start him on the edge, and you just want to backpedal one step when you get to be in that shadow puddle. Otherwise, you don't want to move him because you want it as overlapping as possible to maximize your room. Now, when he casts this channel on you, the darkness channel, you want to use your sprint and run as far away from him as possible, so that way you have maximum space for these ads. You want to slow these ads by using your Nightblade on them. This is why you took that one talent. And you want to kill them. Every ad that reaches him is going to heal him for 20%. So it's really important that none of your ads reach him. You might be able to get by with one hitting him this whole time, but you're going to run out of space if more than that hits him. So if more than that hits him, you might want to wipe it and start all over again. So once you end that phase, you want to drag him back to the edge of the room again, and only backpedal when you are in the purple. Otherwise, you will run out of space, and you're basically rinse and repeating that. Again, just fighting him, getting as much DPS on him as you can. You want to use pots, drums, anything that you can. Of course, you do want to save some cooldowns for those ads if necessary to get them down in time. I had trouble with it. Mark for Death would have been really great there. I took it, and then I forgot to use it. So, Mark for Death also on those. But the important thing is that you want to slow them, and that's why you want that one level 75 talent that slows when you use your Nightblade on them. So you just go ahead and AoE them, get that slow on them, and then, you know, burn your cooldowns and get them all dead. Of course, once they get into that void zone, you will not be able to DPS them anymore. So you want to kill them before they even get there, although you can use your Shuriken Toss to get them if they do get away from you. But back to the edge, DPSing him again, using your cooldowns, fainting, potions, whatever you need to do to survive, although I didn't find that he did a lot of damage until at the very end when he enrages. Which happens right here at 10%. There's his enrage. So he's hitting a lot harder, but you're just burning him at this point and trying to stay alive. And then that's it. And so now let's turn in our quest to this guy, and then to Dalaran, and then let's go look at our shiny new appearances for Subtlety.
I was not myself. I have returned the energy back through the focusing iris. Azeroth's ley lines should be restored. We should return to my tower. I imagine we have much to discuss.
So you have the base color, which is the blue, you have the green for getting that heroic kill Jaden kill, and then you have the purple and the white. I hope this was helpful to you guys. Thank you for watching.